Thank you for joining us on Not Us United. On this episode, Michael and Nick discuss Sonic the Hedgehog 2. That's right. One of the most pivotal films of the 2020 year finally got a sequel, and it was well worth the wait. Introducing a new character called Knuckles the Echidna, with Idris Elba voicing this amazing character. We think you're in for a great episode. We also discuss the topic of video game movies as a genre and how they've pretty much failed across the board, but there are a few diamonds in the rough. We thank you again for joining us. If you're listening on audio, please leave us a review. If you're listening to us on YouTube, like and subscribe. Thank you.
Start us off.
Okay.
I feel like you have something. Do you have something?
Yeah, I got something. What?
Just you.
I don't really have anything super planned, but it was going to be some sort of Fast and Furious tie-in, except I haven't seen any of those movies.
Uh-huh.
That's all I got.
Well, that was the best intro I've ever heard. What about something like, you've heard of Vin Diesel, you've heard of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, but have you heard of a hedgehog going really fast?
That's true.
His name is Sonic, and he is too fast for this world. He is also very furious at some chili dogs.
Okay.
And if you were to watch a movie about it, there would be two made in the past few years that you could watch. And guess what? Jim Carrey is also in it. And also, this movie has Tails, who's a squirrel thing. Fox, that's right. Thank you.
You're on a roll, and you're the one who's like telling me to go. He's like, "Oh, you got nothing? All right, I guess I'll just boom, 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 boom." Excellent intro.
It's called improv.
Excellent.
One of us took it in high school.
But Tails is definitely a fox.
Yeah.
That's where you got a little
Yeah,
lost.
sorry.
A squirrel, good choice though.
Yeah.
That's it's a strong second. The
Yeah,
tail is more prominent, I suppose.
Yes. So I was going. To be fair, I don't think Sonic very much clearly looks like a hedgehog.
Yeah. His spikes are. He only has like 4 of them instead of like 100.
Well, let's just get that out of the bat. He looks far better than what he looked like in the
It's
first trailer. If anyone has seen that.
Yeah, that was actually an interesting piece of like pop culture where a trailer came out and the fandom was like, "Yikes, what a nightmare!"
Mm-hmm.
And the studio was like, "You're right," and they changed the whole thing.
Do you think there's a conspiracy theory to that?
Like they did it on purpose.
Yes. Like they had it already
It was
made.
bad enough that you do wonder.
Yeah.
Or like, was this the fake trailer?
Yeah.
Or something like, "Hey, this would be funny if," and then that was the one that got aired.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think
It
so.
was pretty rough, and
Yeah.
it didn't get corrected for a couple months. I don't know.
It delayed everything.
It did delay it, but not enough to get affected by the pandemic. That's
Yes.
right, because it came out like
right before.
it cashed
it was like
out
February
for like 3 weeks,
2020.
and then everything stopped.
Yeah.
It was like this and The Gentleman,
Oh yeah.
and I'm pretty sure for like 8 months straight, there was just like this weird like Sonic the Hedgehog is the highest grossing movie of all year. Like the entire year has just been dominated by Sonic the Hedgehog. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah. But for those who don't know,
Yes.
we are going to be reviewing the sequel to Sonic the Hedgehog, otherwise known as Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Two Tails, Too Furious. That's how we start the episode. Boom.
Boom.
Um,
Excellent. I love it.
It's amazing that this movie is anywhere near as good as it is. Both of them.
Yeah. I think we talked about it earlier over some games, and we were like, it's hard to rate this movie because it's so good in what it is trying to do.
Yeah.
But you can't just be like, "Bro, you seen Sonic 2, bro?" It's like super
see
good.
it.
Like, it's such a weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. I suppose it's kind of like in the category similar to its animated like brothers as well, where it's like, yeah, have you seen the new Pixar? Have you seen the new whatever?
I don't know about that. I would say it's even lower. I mean, like the newest Pixar is like that has like a kind of a stake or like a reputation to it. But like this is like a weird middle ground where it is a kids movie, but it's like
it's kind of got like Shrek vibes in a sense, where it's like this kind of like you don't expect it to be that good. The source material is there's this Sega Genesis character that runs in a 2D platform collecting coins because he's a really fast hedgehog. That's the lore.
Yeah.
And then obviously it gets expanded in more video games, but that's its premise.
Yeah, let's put a pin right there.
Yeah.
And tell me your experience with Mr. the Sonic previously and with Mr. the Sonic first movie where there's only one animal.
Mr. Hedgehog, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my Sonic experience started on a Sega Genesis. One or two, I can't remember which the first. I think it was the one that Tails was introduced, so I think it was 2.
Yeah.
Just playing that game. Never actually beat them because they do progressively get so much harder, and you're going so fast that half the time you miss like where you're even supposed to turn or whatever, because you have to like. It was interesting as a platformer because you have like Mario that's like it's one way, but you're just jumping up and down to get through the level. But with Sonic, you had to have enough speed to actually get through it. And so if you messed up, you couldn't actually get through the game. So it was kind of interesting. But as the games progressed, they eventually got into the GameCube world where there was like these. I think they were called Sonic Battle.
Yeah.
Volume 2 was where I like. Ooh, that was my jam.
Okay.
For some reason, my family consumed that game because it was multiplayer.
Okay.
There was some racing involved, so there was some side-by-side racing. You could like do grind races where you'd like hit rails and then like grind for the whole thing.
Yeah, bro.
Or snowboard, which plays a role in this movie.
Yes, it does.
Number 2. So a little
no spoilers.
Little tieback. And it introduced all these characters because Sonic was like the adventured one. So during his parts of the campaign, you would run down crazy hills and do all these things. But then you might switch to Tails, who was like the gadget guy. So he would be on like a spaceship shooting stuff. Then you'd switch to Knuckles, and he would have to go find Chaos Emeralds. Nice. Which like, this is amazing. This game is sick.
Is it well rated, or is that like a game that you just love? Because I think other Sonic games are just not super highly
I'd be interested.
revered.
I think if you took, maybe this is my bias, but I think if you were like best Sonic games of all time, I think Sonic Battle 2 has got to be up there.
Okay.
It's got to be top 5.
Wow.
Easy.
I
think so.
There's only been 5 made?
Well, no. I mean, I think there's been a couple recent ones that are decent, and I think there's a new one that's supposed to come out like this fall that's open world Sonic, which could be cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we got really into it. Lots of like PvP experiences where we were battling each other and family feuds, all that sort of thing. So
so was there ever beef and you're like, let's take this to Sonic battles?
Yeah, like I could text my friend or text some of my cousins right now and just say something like Chaos Sphere, and they'll know exactly what I'm talking about because that was a move that was done. This game was very broken in that some characters had like powers that were super potent and some had none. And so you'd be racing, and then like if you collect enough coins, you can cast whatever.
Yeah.
Sonic's was basically like you stop for 10 seconds so I can keep running.
Oh wow.
Well, Shadows was like he could like hit you at any range wherever with Chaos Sphere, and he would like make you like he'd make you scared, and you'd lose all your coins, and you'd be frozen for like 30 seconds. And it would just progressively get more, and we're just like, this game is so broken. If you get like 120 coins, you're screwed. Win. Yeah, it's like you win. So I wouldn't say it taught us a lot about the characters, but it made us like love them.
Yeah.
And so then, as the games kind of progressed, there is more lore that we kind of broke into, but it was more just like, this was a good time.
Right.
So
very cool.
What about you with Sonic?
So I'm a little younger.
Yes.
I'm a little baby. And so I never had a Sega Genesis or GameCube or anything. The first console I had was a PlayStation Uno.
Okay. Well, GameCube was after PlayStation technically.
Could I didn't. But I don't really know.
Yeah, that's fine.
So,
but you stayed in the console fam.
Yes.
Did you have like an Xbox ever?
My only Xbox was the 360.
Oh, well,
so I had all the PlayStations except for 3 and 5.
Mm-hmm.
and then I had some DS games, some DS
Wait, you
and
skipped
Game Boy.
You skipped PS3 altogether?
Yeah, so because I got 360 instead.
Oh, okay. Switched
Yeah.
generations, then went back to
Then
the
went
PS4.
back to PS4.
Nice,
Yeah.
excellent.
So Nintendo, I've only done handheld stuff.
Yep.
Game Boy and DS and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But Sonic, I had this disc, a computer disc, and I would play it like it was like oh, I forget what it's called, but it was like a bunch of different games from like Sega,
Mm-hmm.
and it had like that, and it had a game called Shining Force, which I really loved.
Nice. So it's like an emulator
Yeah,
or something?
yeah, it was
Okay.
like had like 12 games on there,
Mm-hmm.
a bunch of like arcade kind of stuff, but then like Sonic was on there, and so I think it was Sonic 2 as well. And so that was my experience with Sonic. I played like the first like 4 or 5 levels, and I remember like just liking them and enjoying them, but I'm not knowing what the heck I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you made the reference to Mario, where it's like it's fairly linear, but Sonic, there's certain maps where like I just kind of went straight and just went around in circles, and I ended up at the ending.
Yeah.
And so I was like, there was like no real strategy for me. I was just like run until I find, which is I guess kind of thematic.
Mm-hmm.
And then I played a little bit of the Sonic Mania that came out a few years ago, and I liked that.
Okay.
Kind
Which
of
one's that?
That's like the fan made, and then like ultimately it's like old school Sonic, the 2D Sonic, where like they went back
yes.
to the old
But
kind
they
of
just
maps,
remade a bunch of levels. Or
kind of
whatever.
reimagined kind of some stuff, and that was really fun. But everywhere in between, nothing. Haven't played any of that.
Yeah.
There's like Sonic Forces, which apparently is super bad. And
There's
people
one where he
don't
turns
like.
into a werewolf.
Yeah, something
Pretty
like
sick.
that. So, of course you would like that one. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think I played like the demo of it or whatever.
I know, but anything
yeah.
he turns into a werewolf, like seal of approval.
Yeah. Dark Sonic, get out of here.
But the most experience that I've probably had with Sonic is when it was a TV show.
Oh.
But very specifically, the first 2 episodes of the TV show.
Okay.
Because for all the youngsters out there, sometimes TV shows were burned onto a Game Boy disc, like
Yes.
cartridge.
Okay.
And you could watch them on your Game Boy.
Nice.
And so I would watch the first 2 episodes of the Sonic show
over and over.
every like few months, and I'd be like, "Oh, this is great." And I was like,
Excellent.
so I know like that,
Hmm.
and that's it.
That's interesting. I've never watched any of the shows.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, and so I know it's a weird world that I know of, but I cannot tell you many things. I know all the characters, I know like they're there,
Well, and they're fairly like
recognizable.
and I mean their plots aren't crazy, but I will say when they start to get into kind of the more extended characters, there is some really interesting. They kind of go like power level wise, and they get kind of crazy. So there's some interesting things that they dive into, which we'll talk about in this movie as well.
So I'm on the fringes of the Sonic fandom. Like I wouldn't even really consider myself a fan, but I know he's blue and he likes chili dogs, and I know some of his posse.
That's right. When did you experience the first film?
The first film was probably the last film I saw in theaters in 2020.
Oh, you did actually go
I did see it in theaters. I saw it with my sister, shout out Christine.
Christine?
We were on we went down there just to see her, and we all went to the theater, and we watched it, and I was like, wow, this is I'm glad that I can keep going to the theater, and this will never end. And this will be a thing I keep doing for the rest of this year. And that was like 3 weeks before everything got shut down.
Yeah.
So just weird times to think about. But yeah, so I saw it in theaters. It was really fun. And there was a kid in front of us who was loving it. And so that probably boosted my excitement.
I love it.
I liked the first one.
Yes.
I mean, it's hard to rate, but I mean, I think like given the quality, but also my enjoyment, 6.5, 7.
Yeah.
It's just fun.
Yeah.
It's not awesome. It's not amazing. I'm not like, oh, you haven't seen Sonic the Hedgehog?
Yeah.
But I would throw it on, and it's like, there's definitely parts where it's like, okay, it is kind of cheesy and whatever, but like, it's just fun. And like, it encompasses the character, I think, from a non-super fan standpoint, just like really well, I think, and just, it's just really lighthearted, and it has a good energy to it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and it's weird. There's just enough care done with like the characters of this that it just feels weirdly like I don't know. There's like certain movies that are like this where you're just like, you're just a guy who like needs to make money, and the studio gave you Dragon Tales or whatever,
Yeah.
and so now you're making
Yeah.
the Dragon Tales movie
Yeah.
or whatever. I got it. This felt like, and again, like I don't know much about Sonic the character, but it felt like weirdly cared for.
Yes.
I don't know.
And I think what showed it is that they, after the trailer was released, they went back and did that. If they released that old version, ooh,
Yeah, that would be rough.
that would have killed it, and like it wouldn't have showed. It wouldn't have been good at all. Like it would have been.
Yeah,
bad.
it's surprising, like looking at it now, to be like, how did you guys not think that that was going to be a better option?
And he looks great.
Yeah, he is.
He looks great. And so, big thumbs up from me.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey steals the show. Absolutely crushes it in this movie.
Yeah, there's also a rumor going around that this might be his
Sonic
last
2
movie.
I mean, end on a high note, I guess.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean,
When you peak,
it's maybe
you
the
peak,
most
Nick.
Jim Carrey thing to do, or the least. I don't know.
I mean, there's only so far you can go.
It's true.
And once you hit Sonic 2,
You're going full speed.
yeah.
The blue blur.
Nice.
I love it.
What about you?
Yeah, so I didn't see this in theaters. It was one of those where I think like the February movie of choice. I think Kate and I went and saw The Gentleman, or maybe
There's also
we
The
rented
Invisible
that.
Man that came out during that time.
We
you
did.
see
Yeah,
that?
I didn't see that.
Oh, good movie.
And then March, we like the week before all of this went down, we went and saw like The Way Back, the Ben Affleck
Oh yeah, the basketball, alcohol and basketball.
movie, which was quite good. And then that's when it all ended. And then I think Sonic like sped into
Nice.
rental Thank you.
Did you intend to do that?
I think he got into rentals
Quickly.
like by April
Yeah.
or something. And so we're just like, hey,
Might as well.
we thought this was going to be done in
gonna
2
do?
weeks.
Yeah.
Guess it's here forever.
Guess we're
and
watching
you want to watch
Sonic.
Sonic? And I just remember really enjoying it. And it could be heightened because everything
Was close.
shitty. I was like,
All
I
we
haven't
have is
seen
Sonic.
Friends, haven't met Michael Zavala yet.
Yeah.
I was like,
I know
what?
this is a pre-Michael and Nick
Yeah.
meeting.
It is. And yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I agree. I was like, of course they got Jim Carrey for this.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't picture anyone else in it.
Oh no.
Because what a weird... even just the anatomy of Eggman is pretty wild. Because, like, in the cartoons, he literally is, like, a ball.
An egg.
With, like, huge, long legs.
And a mustache.
Yeah, like, just very disproportionate.
Yeah.
And it's like, how are you ever going to achieve that? It's like, oh, you just find a guy who can make his face do crazy
Yeah.
things. All right, got it. That's
Yeah.
about the best you can do.
Yeah.
And he eats up every scene. He's like,
Oh,
I'll go to Grinch levels for this movie if I
Yeah.
have to.
He's like, I'll give you 100%.
Yeah.
And respect.
I think in the second one, I think he even goes crazier.
Yeah, I think so.
There's times where I'm like, if you close your eyes, you're like, oh, this is the Grinch. Like he's
Yeah.
activating all of the old like
Yeah.
all-star roles just for fun, you know.
Yeah.
And so there is some extra enjoyment, I think, from that because you're getting to just reminisce with like old talent, but also Ben Schwartz being the voice of Sonic is perfect because he is a little spazzy, a little quick, like witted and
Yeah.
stuff, and so it's just really, yeah, he's really speedy with his jokes. So,
Dang, Nick.
so I thoroughly enjoyed it. I probably would put it a little bit higher than you, like 7.5 for the
Wow.
first one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Way to one up me.
Hey, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's why you go first.
That's why I let you fall.
That's why I let you fall.
All right, so going into Sonic 2.
Yeah.
Anticipation, excitement.
Yeah, so I saw the trailer and was like, yo, is my boy Knuckles showing up, dude?
Voiced by Idris Elba.
Knuckles the Echidna, my dude? Yeah, I'm excited. And his, like, mittens look soft but wreck
Deadly,
things.
yeah.
This is insane. They're doing it. And yeah, Idris Elba, out of all people, I was like, oh, this is... I don't even know how this is going to work, but this is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And and then it got into theaters, and I think I just missed it. I don't remember.
Yeah, this was like early in the year.
Yeah. We're definitely late to the game, but
March,
now that it's
April.
on Prime, we're just like, we're doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, I had a kid. That's probably why.
Oh yeah.
That's probably what it was. I was like, why didn't I see this movie? This seems like a perfect movie for you to go, oh, yeah, it's probably like within a month of me having a child.
A life was brought into your life.
That's right.
A new.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Who would?
Yeah.
Oh, I almost forgot about your entire child sleeping upstairs.
Why didn't you go to the stuff for a while? Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that's definitely why. But yeah, that would be my excitement going in. It wasn't like, oh yeah, Jim Carrey's returning or whatever, because I knew obviously he was.
So basically, the only thing that would have stopped you from watching Sonic 2 is having a child.
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's high praise.
Yeah. Exactly. I wish I could have seen it sooner. What?
You wish you would have had your child later so you could watch Sonic 2?
No, I just maybe I should have brought her with.
Yeah, her first movie should have been Sonic 2.
It wouldn't be a bad one.
What was her first movie? Was it Dune or was it It was something.
It was in the hospital. She technically saw Black Widow,
Well.
but
you
she
can
was
do better.
asleep for most of it. So.
Well, so was I.
Oh, got him. But no, I think her like first like we sat down and we watched a movie was, Dune.
Oh, you got to.
Got to.
You
It's perfect. That like, the Sardakar's like throat music is very like calming. You got like a sound machine? No. We just do Sardaukar.
She's like, every time I watch Dune, like when she's an adult, just I fall right asleep. It's so weird.
Yeah, I love it.
All right. Well, let's go into a little, I guess, non-spoiler review
Sure.
if we want to. There's not super much spoilers I feel in this, but it's Sonic. He's back. He's in Green Hills, and maybe he's trying to be a superhero man. But then Eggman comes back. Ooh.
Not dead.
Not dead. Ooh. And then also there's a red echidna running around causing some troubles. Ooh.
Yeah, which we were hinted at in the first one.
Were we?
Yeah, when Sonic's first like day when he like gets sent by his mom.
Mm-hmm. The owl.
The owl sends him the masked like warriors were all echidnas.
Yeah.
They were coming to take out.
Which, yeah, this story kind of follows up on.
But it was cool, like, how they laid that, like,
Yeah.
if there are going to be sequels, here's the lore. And I was like, oh, it's fascinating.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was, like, holy wars basically waging between these, like, races of animals.
I don't know if that's technically canon or whatever that was invented.
I mean, I know
this.
Knuckles, like, his big obsession, at least in the games, was always chasing after the Chaos Emeralds.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it is probably ties into his thing of, like, he's the holy warrior of, like, I need to collect my people's stones.
Yeah.
Again.
So that's what they're doing, and I mean I don't want to go too far into that, but basically, I think it's on par, if not a little better than the first one.
Yeah.
Just in that, like, I think again Jim Carrey just kind of goes a little bit more. I think in the introduction of all these other characters is fun. I will say, as all of these other kind of I guess movies where there's like interesting characters where we follow like non-human characters are kind of more interesting, like in Transformers or like a King Kong or Godzilla and stuff. It's like when we follow the human characters, it's a little like, okay, what are we really doing here? We're just really stretching time. So this does suffer from that
for sure
a little more than I think the other one does.
I agree.
But it's entertaining enough. It's rom-commy enough.
Yeah.
That I'm like, okay, this isn't bad.
Yeah, this has the plot of an 80-minute movie.
Yes.
That I think they were a little scared to sell it as such. And so they made it a 120-minute movie.
Yeah.
And so there are parts where you're just like, yes, this is the part where James Marsden has to make his paycheck.
Yes.
Got it. Definitely not why I came to this movie, but got it. But I felt like all the parts with Sonic, the lore of all those things, the story beats with him are all the same, if not better, than the previous film. But I would say that the parts that were bad in the first one are just slightly worse with. There's some like fun story beats, I think, with the human characters that were really entertaining, and there's this one part where I was like, oh, I could totally call this a mile away, but it's going to be really funny how this plays out. With like a switcheroo of
the old switcheroo
of a MacGuffin in the movie. But I think all the strong parts are stronger.
Yes, I agree. So let's just go into it. I mean, like, I feel like if you haven't seen this,
8 out of 10. Go.
Wow, 8 out of 10. I'll probably just go again with 7.5.
You're trash.
Okay.
All right, end of spoilers. Okay. Anyway, that was the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Moving on. While Michael
is this
recovers.
the hill you die on?
Yeah,
is
100%.
this the green hill you die on?
This is one of those 8 out of 10s where I'm like, everyone has to see Sonic the Hedgehog.
Really?
Too. You got
You
to.
feel that strong about this movie?
It's awesome.
I'm like a half a point to a point behind you, but
I just think like we're gonna get into this later in the episode, but it's like, what other video game movies are this good with the material that they're even?
I mean, I would argue this is probably the best video game movie.
Yeah.
I mean,
besides Ready Player One. Well, that's another episode.
If you want to listen to that episode, that was recorded earlier.
No, I agree. Like, the only thing I haven't seen is like, Halo, the TV show.
Oh yeah,
that's one I want to see.
Destroying that as well.
But like,
I saw the first episode. It was not bad. I liked it.
Oh, good, good. But yeah, I think like from a video game standpoint, so far there hasn't been like killer content.
Yeah.
And while this isn't like groundbreaking filmmaking, it's still like pretty run of the mill like plot that you would get from an average like kids animated film.
This feels like a movie that was written in 2000, and they just like made it now, which is fine. And like there's like kind of like a nice simplicity to it.
It's good, as in like, if you want to go back to another episode of ours, as I like Power Rangers good.
Yeah.
Where it's like, if you like what you like, and this is an area that's like just you've got good nostalgia with, then I think it delivers.
I will say Power Rangers is better than this, for sure.
Get out of here. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
That's something I thought you would agree.
Yeah, I agree.
I didn't know Sonic the Hedgehog surmounted
I'm really like
power. You just want to fight.
I'm just spicy tonight. Yes, you're correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Not with your rating of this film, but
not with your trash opinion,
but Power Rangers, yes, is excellent.
I think that has a heart. With this has a little bit of heart. There's like a moment with Sonic and James Marsden, whatever his character's name, on the boat, and he's like this father figure to Sonic, and there's that, and that's nice, but like, and there's a little bit of the friendship. It's like, oh, him and Tails, they're friends.
I honestly, my favorite parts of the movie were him and Knuckles eventually becoming allies. Yeah, that was the strongest for me.
I thought one of the lightest, the best moment was at the end.
Yeah.
For now we're in spoilers, where they're like playing baseball. Yes. I like that a lot, and I think Knuckles was firing off
so good.
Some zingers, if you will.
Yeah, it was like ball of bases. It was like Idris Elba playing Drax.
Yes.
Kind of is how I would explain it.
So I felt like that felt super weird, because like that was just not present throughout the whole movie, and I get we have to like build to that, but like that was really nice, and I feel like Knuckles wasn't that way during the rest of the movie, so it felt kind of weird to be like, oh wait, no, this is nice, and
he finally gets to be funny instead of the villain.
Yeah,
for sure. But yeah, once he finally came around, and now they have like basically the Avengers, which I did like how this movie kind of even took some of the like, every time he lands, he has to like slam his fist on the ground, and like he just wants to be a hero so bad.
Yeah.
And so in a lot of ways, this is like, if you like Spider-Man, or if you like just a kid coming of age wanting to be a hero, that's basically what Sonic is. Yeah. They kind of fused him into that kind of archetype, whereas in the games, I feel like he's kind of already a hero. Like but there's also like no humans. Like he goes to planets and like saves them. It's not like he's, an orphan. So they kind of did the more superhero American story that we all know. So, but no, my strongest was Knuckles, and I really appreciate that Idris Elba is in this movie.
Yeah.
Because like I just feel like James Marsden, that makes sense because he like can do both. He can be like Cyclops, but he can also be in like Enchanted. And it's like, okay, James, this checks out. Jim Carrey, sure, wild card.
Yeah.
Everyone else, you're just happy to be in a movie.
Yeah.
Idris Elba though, interesting.
Yeah.
Like you're not short for work.
No.
And what was the sales pitch for you to get into this? Like, listen, you're kind of like Mickey Mouse, but you like punch things really freaking hard.
I'm in.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah.
And he just played it so like I don't know, it was
He
really
played it
good.
well. Yeah, it was just great. Like everyone's giving 100%.
Yeah, and in the games, Knuckles always was a kind of a hothead, like a little more stubborn, and so I felt like they stayed true to it, and Idris like went there, and I really appreciated that. So
Yeah.
I think that's what elevated it for me. Tails was fine.
Well, I think just Tails in general is fine.
Yeah,
Like his character.
he's just kind of the fanboy.
Yeah. I don't. I've never cared for him.
And in the games, that's honestly, he kind of feels like, yay, Sonic, we're doing stuff. Yeah, Sonic, look, we're doing it. And it's like, there's not like a lot of depth there.
No, and I think that's good. I mean, they portrayed his character
They
the
did it
way that it was
correctly.
supposed to
It's
be,
just,
but like so,
yeah.
I just don't think many people like Tails.
The cool part I will say though is the voice of Tails is the voice from the video games.
Oh, cool.
So they
That's
did
perfect.
at least get the actress.
Yeah.
I don't know how to pronounce her last name though. She's got a crazy
Yeah.
last name. Check this out. So it's Colleen O'Shaughnessy.
O'Shaughnessy?
O'Shaughnessy.
Yeah, that sounds right. Oh, geez. Yeah, O'Shaughnessy.
Yeah.
That looks good. Yeah.
But
That's
she has
long.
been Tails
Since
in a lot of the like animated stuff. So
a tale as old as time. if
so that
you
was
will.
cool that they like were willing to do that because obviously other people are acting the other roles. So, but super cool. I guess overall though, like now that you're seeing the deeper lore of Sonic, what are your thoughts on like the kind of these ancient wars that have been fought and this Chaos Emeralds?
The Chaos Emeralds. I'm not like, man, I can't wait to go back and watch all the Chaos Emeralds. But I'm, yeah, sure, they're the MacGuffins and they come together and they make one big emerald and then he becomes gold, his Super Saiyan and whatever, and then he pops off. Cool, yeah, it's great. And then he just kind of gives up. I'm like, sure, whatever. I think this movie, like, gets by with a lot of stuff on my end where it's like, why did he do this and this and this? Where I'm just like, I don't really care because it's just fun
Sonic the
and
Hedgehog.
it is treating this material well.
Yeah.
It's not like, and I think there is that perfect balance of like, I mean, there's not really much for Sonic to build off of. There's very like bare bones characters, but there's enough to be like, hey, here's some homage and here's like some fun stuff, and it can translate to the movie well, and there's like some care built into it that really, I mean, lets me enjoy what this is.
Right. No, I agree. I think they know who they want to get into these movies, and so they have to find a unique way to get them there. And so sometimes, some of it's like, I don't know, like I thought he kind of matured up a little bit in the first one, and then like it's still kind of the same old Sonic in the second one. You know, like, oh, they're finally gone. I'm just gonna eat Cheetos for the rest of the weekend or whatever. But
Same.
But I get it. I mean, this is the general demographic that this is pointing at is kids who would totally do that, and this is who their hero is. So it's like, this checks out, you know.
Or guys who are 26 and would also do that if no parents were. Don't check my trash can.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's just fun. I think it's like some of the action's pretty good too. Like I think there's some moments where like Sonic and like the Knuckles fight, I think when they get to that like temple area was pretty good. Yeah, and then the big robot at the end. Sure. Yeah.
That checks out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a boss battle at the
Yeah.
end, and yeah. And I did like my favorite. I think my favorite part was he assembles the Chaos Emeralds just in time to go Super Saiyan, pops off, turns into this like terrifying gold demon of Sonic or whatever he is. Just crazy. He's got like red eyes. And then they're like, Sonic, are you okay? And Knuckles is very serious. He's like, stay back. He's no longer the Sonic you once knew. He's a radiating power. Like, you cannot be close to him. And he, like, with his power, can summon anything with his thought. And he just summons a chili dog so perfect and then takes a bite. And then turns back into blue. He's like, all right, never mind. This is the exact same Sonic. I was like, this is perfect. This is
See, it's like, it's something like that where it's like, okay. They could have had a whole beat where it's like, Sonic, no, we love you. We're your family.
Friendship will get you through this. And I think, like, knowing that Idris Elba, like, had to say that line, and then his character gets hit in the face with the chili dog, it's just like, this is so cool. We have reached this level in Hollywood now where people are just like, you know what? Let's just have some fun.
And when do I get hit by the chili dog?
Yes.
Is that before or after?
How method do you want me to get with this?
Yeah, should I pour chili on my face? Is what I'm asking.
It's insane. Like, it's just so good. And you know what? I kind of want this to happen. It won't ever happen. I just want Idris Elba to get nominated for Knuckles, just so like there's the Academy Awards, and it's just like serious role. And it's just freaking Knuckles, the echidna. And just, because he did. He, like, he was willing to do it, and I think he needs to get the proper, pub about it.
If anyone gets nominated, I feel like Jim Carrey would.
Sure. But no. Best Supporting Actor, Idris Elba. I'm calling it right now.
Put it on Twitter.
Please.
Get people going on Twitter.
That's true. That's probably the way to do it.
Hashtag Idris for Oscar.
There are
Oscar for Idris.
Because, like, here's a question. Did, like, when Elsa's Let It Go came out, the song obviously got nominated, but, like, she didn't get nominated as the actress for Elsa.
See, no, it was the singer. It's whoever sang the song or wrote the song.
Well, yeah, but she's also the voice actor of
right.
Elsa. I'm just wondering, like, okay.
When that happened, it was like, and the Let It Go from the movie Frozen.
Correct. And Encanto was the same thing, but it's like, no one did anyone get nominated for acting in Encanto?
No.
See, come on.
No. I don't think any voice animated actors get nominated. They just don't. There's a stigma on the Oscars.
I guess, okay, because you're not,
because that's not
physically.
That's not acting, apparently, Nick.
I don't know, dude. I guess that'd be weird because you'd only take on people that do voice acting. I don't know.
There's probably like a voice or voice narrating acting award.
I just
ceremony.
think, like, sometimes when the synergy works, like, I need to watch Chris Evans' Lightyear, but, like, I wonder if there's just people who, like, it just fits, and they need to get. I feel like Idris Elba's Knuckles.
Who would have thought that
beautiful.
This is it?
It's beautiful. It's a match made in heaven. It's wonderful. I love it so much.
Yeah.
I'm so happy.
I'm pumped up by that.
Thanks.
That makes me pumped up.
Yeah.
But
anyway,
I will cheer. I will give you $5.
Write it down. It's happening.
If Idris Elba is nominated for Knuckles the Echidna in the year
God bless
2022.
Him. He's so good. He's so good in this. Is he going to be in Sonic 3? Oh, he is.
I hope so. There better be. So, teaser for Sonic, the third one.
Yeah.
We got our boy. Also, Eggman probably not dead. Because they didn't find no body, no crime. And then also they're like, did you know, Mr. Olive Garden Man, that there was a project a long time ago? And he was like, what project?
Oh,
the
no.
Shadow Project?
Ooh, when he wakes up. Yeah, so this is interesting. Because it would mean that Shadow was probably created before Sonic ever got here.
Created? Yeah, or like captured.
Oh, interesting. Never thought of that. I always pictured Shadow as the created, like, clone of Sonic. Because he had boots that had rockets on them that made him faster than Sonic. But he could have been kidnapped and, like, genetically...
He could have been kidnapped?
Kidnapped? He could have been. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. I always thought he was like a dark clone.
That makes sense.
That they have to, like, get him to... But he has the ability to also do what Sonic does with the Chaos Emeralds, but he turns silver.
Ooh.
So in the game, Sonic Battle 2, or whatever, Sonic Adventure Battle 2... Let me have this.
We've done a lot of nerdy stuff on this. But in the game...
Okay, hold on. There's the good campaign and there's the bad campaign. Everyone has kind of their alter ego. So, like, if you play through with Sonic, he eventually becomes Gold Sonic, saves the day, whatever. If you play as Shadow, he also assembles the Chaos Emeralds and turns, like, silver and does kind of the same thing.
Dope.
Pretty sick.
So, what you're saying
is basically going to be Godzilla versus Kong, but good. I think.
Honestly, yeah.
This is it.
It's going to be better than
this
Kong
is the
versus Godzilla.
crossover we've been looking for.
Yeah, and then Vin Diesel will come on a bike and be like...
Wait, why Vin Diesel again?
I don't know, Fast and Furious.
Okay, got it.
They reference Vin Diesel and The Rock.
Fair enough.
Remember they have beef?
Oh, true, yeah. I also just saw, too, that Sonic the series is going to be a thing, and Idris Elba is also in it. So maybe
is it Ben Schwartz? Is it like, are they getting everybody?
That's a good question. Let me look. But if he's gonna be Knuckles the whole time, game on, baby. I'm in.
Game on.
Ben Schwartz just having the time of his life. Look at this guy. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
No, he is just in Sonic the Hedgehog 3 for right now. Anyway. So yeah, there you go.
Sonic 2.
Sonic 2 was excellent. Take your family.
Says one of us.
Take your kids. Just take yourself. Go see this movie.
To your own TV.
To Amazon Prime. Or buy it.
Take your family to Amazon.com. Sit them in front of a TV and log on to Amazon.com.
Throw them a few bucks.
Yeah.
Get Sonic.
Elon Musk needs your money.
Okay.
The owner of Tesla and Target.
There's a lot wrong with
and the owner of the Star Wars franchise.
What does this have to do with Amazon? What are you saying?
Because he owns Amazon.
No, he doesn't.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Jeffrey Bezos does.
One of us likes this movie more than the other, and one of us is also wrong about their opinion.
Well, I said someone's opinion was trash, and now you know why. This guy's insane. But let's continue this topic for, I don't know, a few more minutes.
As long as you can handle me.
So we said that this is probably one of the better video game adaptations.
Yes.
Can you think of any other strong
inclusions?
Entries into that list?
Yeah, I feel like we bring this up because a lot of video game movies are not great.
Yeah.
You got the old Super Mario Brothers one that's like
Trash.
Just not even like coherent.
Yeah. Like your opinion sometimes.
Yeah.
Continue. I'm sorry.
How can I continue when I'm being bombarded by negativity?
I'm sorry. Continue.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Forgive me.
Of course, every day.
Okay. Super Mario.
Yeah,
I agree.
But then like there's like the old Mortal Kombats and
the new Mortal Kombat.
Woo! Which I will say I enjoyed only because you and I watched it and we trashed it. And
it
was
actually
really
was
fun.
good.
So I was gonna bring that one up just because it was fun, but it's not good.
Oh, it's pretty good.
It's like a 5 out of 10.
It's pretty good.
I will say one that I do have a soft spot for and would have liked to actually enjoy more. I want to enjoy it more is the Warcraft movie that came out a while ago.
Yeah.
Like I'm not even a big Warcraft guy, but I'm a big like medieval kind of, Lord of the Rings guy. And so I wanted to like this one. And they just like I know there's a rich enough storyline and lore that could go into this, but it really like fell flat and did not make a lot of money, and unfortunately is not very great. It's fine.
That's true.
It didn't really work, and I haven't gone back and see it, but like, I mean, when it came out, I was like, oh, I wanted more.
Yeah, and those fandoms don't always cross. Like I know that you can play video games without liking movies.
Yeah.
So some of that hurts you too.
Yeah.
Because you have to make something that the general public.
Right.
But you also have to make something that doesn't suck to the fans. That's hard.
Yeah. I will say not a movie, but kind of a show was, you mentioned earlier, it's there's a Halo Forward Unto Dawn show that was really, really good.
There's a couple animated, and there's like a live action one that was supposedly pretty good.
I don't remember the animated stuff, but
okay.
That was
so this
really
isn't
good.
the newest show.
No,
there's another one.
It was like on YouTube or something.
Yeah, it's almost like fan made.
It was I think it was on ODST, kind of like.
Yes. That's such a prime IP too.
Yes,
that could be
there's
great
so
for
much,
storytelling.
Yeah. And so I would like to go and watch that show, but.
Me too.
Yeah, as for video game stuff, that's kind of like where off the top of my head is what I can think of as like the good. The rest is like, ugh. But do you have any that come to mind?
I mean, growing up, the first few anime films of Pokemon were pretty solid.
Yeah.
But I don't remember what came first. If the game came first and then the show, they were so close to each other. I don't know if the show created the game, the cards.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was all just like kind of around the same time, so I guess it was pretty solid.
Sure.
'Cause there were some like film to game things that just didn't make sense. Like if you ever watched Yu-Gi-Oh, you could never.
Did I ever watch Yu-Gi-Oh?
Like you can never like watch Yu-Gi-Oh and be like, now I know how to play the game Yu-Gi-Oh, because like he cheated all the time.
Yeah.
Whereas Pokemon was pretty straightforward. It's like, gotta catch them all. Oh,
Yeah.
Fair enough. He's trying to.
Yeah.
And he's infinitely 11 years old, I guess, for the next 20 years. Ash
Yeah.
Ketchum, my guy. But other than that, no. I mean, was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles a cartoon before?
I think it was a comic book before.
Comic book,
yeah.
okay. There's also a couple good like video games that came from movies.
Okay.
Like there's some excellent like Lord of the Rings video
100%.
games prime like when the movies were coming out, like that had no reason to be that good.
Yeah.
The Two Towers and
Great game.
Return of the King were insane, and
Yeah.
co-op, awesome.
Yeah.
Super great time. But no, I can't really think of any. That's why I think Sonic is such a breath of fresh air, and I want to like promote it so much because it's like, dude, not a lot of video games like get good stuff like this. So yeah, I do want to go back and watch Halo. I don't know if I'm gonna get Paramount Plus. I saw it came out on DVD. It's like, man, I'll just buy the whole series.
Oh no, I got Paramount if you wanna.
Oh, GG's, thank God. I'll check it out.
Okay.
But yeah, other than that, no, I can't really think too much.
I just know like every other time they come out with like there was a Last of Us show coming out.
Yep, that can be good.
Looks pretty good.
Yeah, and I mean that's prime for.
But that's that's already a story.
The story is solid,
Already written.
and it's pretty much cinematic as a video game. Same thing with Uncharted. Uncharted movies.
Did you watch it?
I mean, I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
I don't think it felt a lot like the game.
Okay.
I think there were scenes that were kind of like cool that were like similar to some of the stuff, but like I just have too much baggage with Tom Holland to be like, oh, you're also Nathan Drake. It's like, you're Spider-Man. You're Spider-Man. You're Spider-Man. You're the whole time you're Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to like separate the two. But I thought it was like safe and like solid.
Right.
But I think Nathan Drake would deserve like a series.
Sure. I just don't see him, Tom Holland, as Nathan Drake in general.
It's hard, yeah.
But like, because I don't know.
He's not even built like him.
Yeah, he's just too scrawny. He need like kind of like I don't know, Nick Jonas. Why does that come to mind?
That's crazy. I don't know what you're thinking.
What should I have said? What was it? Oh my gosh, who'd you pick as Wolverine last week?
I'm not saying it.
Miles
Teller.
Miles Teller, yeah.
He'd be a lot more built. Maybe. No, honestly, 10 years ago, they should have got Nathan Fillion to do Uncharted because he looks just like him.
100%.
There's actually a good fan film, Nathan Drake with Nathan Fillion. Like they actually got him to do like a 12-minute video.
Oh,
it's
cool.
Excellent. Yeah, he's so good.
Oh, that would have been nice.
Yeah.
Well, I know it's just like every other week you hear like a Tetris movie is coming out and a Minecraft movie is coming out, and it's like I don't know, man.
Yeah. It's hard. I think the trickier it will get is how long the games have been going and how much story there really already is.
Mm-hmm.
With Sonic, there really isn't all this crazy stuff that I think people are clinging to, like, oh man, they better get the Chaos Emeralds
Mhm.
right, which I'm not like a huge Sonic fan, so maybe there are some people who are like, that was trash. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
I think with like your Halos, your Uncharted's, all these like really cinematic, like already pretty well
There are
told
beats.
stories
Yeah.
in video games are already so baked into the fans. Now you have a bar.
Yeah.
And so I think Sonic was just the perfect IP to be like, you care enough, but you don't care too much.
Mm-hmm.
That we can kind of have some wiggle room here.
Yeah.
Same thing with me with like the Power Rangers. It's like, there's really only two things you have to do in this.
Yeah.
You have to have dope-ass suits and Zords.
Yeah. And you
do
did it.
whatever you want in between. And they're like, well, we're going to be edgy. I was like, cool. Fun.
Yeah.
Like, that was awesome. But like all the non-essentials were well done and the essentials were taken care of.
Yeah.
Like, that's all you have to do with those. So it just depends on the IP. And maybe try hiring fans or people that actually want to do something. And that's what Sonic feels like it did.
Yeah. But it also feels like when all this other stuff is announced, it feels like a little like a cash grab.
For sure.
And like this could have been like, let's just throw Sonic out there and make some money. And they are making money, great. But I think there is more to it.
There's a story they want to tell too.
Yeah.
He learned some lessons. There's cool stuff, but now he's probably going to meet his match. Like 3 is going to be the what happens when you can't outrun everything.
Yeah.
You know, and he won't be able to with Shadow, and so it'll be interesting.
Yeah, it's good.
So, excellent.
Well, yeah, those are every video game movie ever made. We went through them all.
Yeah. No, but I am curious because like I know we missed some. There's also some video games out there that like we obviously haven't played, and so maybe
I mean, well,
there's
that's like there's a lot of Resident Evil movies that are not great. There's like all like the Silent Hills, all those kind of like horror kind of games haven't really translated well.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
Yeah, sometimes too, like just different mediums are better for different stories.
Mm-hmm.
Like Resident Evil's a great one. When you get to be the one shooting the zombies, instead of it just being another zombie movie that's based off of a video game, it just feels different, you know, because we've already done the zombie movie. So what makes you different?
Right.
Well, playing it makes it different. Maybe it's just never supposed to be a movie.
Yeah, fair.
Because we went and saw that bad boy, and woof.
And woof is the word.
Woof. That was...
Woof.
Woof.
It was the greatest movie of all time. And it's better than Sonic 2. And that's the last thing I'm going to say about this on this episode today.
Right. Well, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
This is the final episode of the podcast.
We got a firecracker of a co-host tonight.
Oh, man. Well, you've heard firecrackers go off. Probably at the 4th of July. Probably when you saw Sonic 2 in the premiere night.
Probably.
Because everyone was very excited. And I'll bring firecrackers to Sonic 3. But you haven't heard of this firecracker talking with this other guy. Not Us United. And that's how we're going to end this episode. And
wow.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank
Good night,
you.
everyone.
Good night.
You've just listened to Not Us United. You can find us under Not Us United on Spotify, iTunes, and YouTube. Please leave us a review and consider subscribing to our podcast. You can reach out for future podcast topic suggestions at notusunitedpod@gmail.com.